So here's all of our cilantro for this dish. We're gonna throw the cilantro right into the Vitamix, where we're just gonna chop it all up. And next we're gonna move on to the parsley. You're gonna want to do 50% more cilantro than you are your parsley. So if you do 1 cup of cilantro, do a half cup of parsley, and that'll be for any amount of this you'd like to make. Next, we're going to move on to our shallot. You're just going to split it in half, take the skin off of each side. This is a pretty big shallot I'm using, so I'm only using half of the shallot I have here. And once you're done with that, you're also going to throw that right in the Vitamix along with your parsley and cilantro. Here you're going to see I add like 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. Um, all I did for these was smash them, peel them up, and I threw them in whole. Because they're also, like everything else I've done so far, getting ground up into the Vitamix. And now the jalapeno. This, it was a decent sized jalapeno, and I'm not a big fan of heat. So I only used half of the jalapeno. I took the core out, took the seeds out. Um, I just kind of rough chopped it and threw it in the Vitamix, and then you're about to see me grind all of it up, and I'm gonna add red wine vinegar along with some extra virgin olive oil. Um, and just get it to a consistency where you want it. You're gonna take half of it and use it for a marinade, and the other half you're gonna use as a sauce later on. When you go to play with your meat here, you're gonna want to cut out this little chunk at the end. It's just not good eats. It is not good eats. It's kind of all just gristly and fatty, and not something you're gonna want to eat. Just like a little sliver, triangle piece at the bottom. And you're gonna want to clean your meat up, make sure you got all like the silver skin and all the nasty shit off, and then you're gonna go and portion it, right? No one's gonna eat a giant hunk of meat. So I cut it across the grain there, and then I came through and cut it right down the middle. That way it's, a nice steak sized piece of meat. So going to marinate it, right? Like I said, you're gonna take half of that chimichurri we made earlier. You're gonna rub it all over your flanks of meat here, and ideally you want it to sit for 3 hours. You're just gonna let it marinate, get all that nice herb flavor, the oils, and just get nice and flavorful in there. Don't fuck with it. Throw it in there. Cover it with saran wrap. Throw it in the fridge. 3 hours. No touchy. Once your 3 hours go by, you're gonna take it out. You're gonna rinse off the majority of the marinade because those herbs are not gonna sear very well. Salt and pepper it once you got it rinsed off, dry it off, and then straight sear it. During those 3 hours, I also cut up 1 potato and blanched it off in some water. That way I could have a starch with my meal. And also we have some asparagus out in our garden. So we got some of that. I blanched that as well. That's why you see a couple more pans up here, just so I wasn't eating just a giant steak. once your steak's finished, you're going to pull it off, set it off to the side to rest. And then my potatoes I'm going to finish up here. I'm just pretty much frying them in some oil, salt, and pepper. I cut up some shallot and garlic to throw in there at the end just for a little extra flavor. And yeah, the asparagus, all I do at the end of that is saute it in a little bit of butter, salt, pepper, and call it a day. As you can see, we're slicing the meat across the grain, the only way to do a flank steak. If you do it with the grain, you're going to be chewing forever. And it's a beautiful cook, just the way I planned for it to come out. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be doing these videos every other week. Join the Discord, vote what we cook on, and I hope to see you guys over on Twitch.